Navigating the Future of Trucking, hosted by Jerry Banks.
With so many things changing quickly, with automation, with autonomy, with these things and new technology, with these things creeping faster and faster into our lives, it's very critical that we start thinking about and recognize the value of people skills because it's that human touch. It's that human connection that cannot be replaced by a robot, that cannot be replaced by new technology, by new software. And so it's very important that you recognize the power of your people skills and you start working on your people skills to develop them to help you stand out from everyone else out there. Now, there was a survey, a study that came out by the World Economic Forum back in 2019. And they said that 85% of the jobs that are going to be existing in 2030, they have not even been invented yet. Now we think 2030 is so far off. I actually thought 2028 was really far off because that's my last child's graduation year. But it's not. It's like 4 years, and I'll blink my eyes, and those 4 years will go by so fast. And it's the same with 2030. We will blink our eyes, and 2030 will be here before we know it. 85% of the jobs that will exist in 2030 have not even been invented yet. But here's the one thing that we know. One thing that we know is that these future roles, they're going to require strong social and strong emotional and strong communication skills. Being able to work with the machines, being able to understand the technology, work with the automation, understand the autonomy, knowing how to communicate, knowing how to handle the customers, that's a whole nother ballgame. Because you can work with those machines. You can understand them. You can build them. You can put them together. You can manage those self-driving trucks. But knowing how to handle your customers, that's another level. That's a whole other ballgame. Your technical skills, they're very important. Your being safety, your knowing how to move in the industry, that is one thing. But thriving in this new industry with your people skills, that's a whole nother level. You're going to need to be able to build those strong relationships. You're going to need to be able and know how to resolve conflicts, know how to handle those difficult situations. And then, if you're working in team settings, you're going to need to know how to work together with your colleagues to meet that end goal that's needed. I want to leave you with one takeaway that I want you to think about that's going to help you build up your people skills for this new future that's filled with automation and autonomy and new technology. And the first thing that I want you to do, the one thing that I want you to take away, and because I also need to act on this and utilize this and practice this more and more, it's active listening. Active listening goes a long way. And my husband will tell you that I'm not the best active listener. However, I work on it and I'll continue to practice, and I want you to practice with me. But active listening goes beyond just hearing what the other person is saying. It involves being able to really understand the message that's being conveyed. In a future where automation is going to handle all the technical things and autonomy is going to handle some of those technical things, the ability to listen and the ability to empathize with your colleagues, with your coworkers, with your leaders, with your customers, those are going to be the key things that are going to set you apart. And I'm going to take this advice for myself as well. I'm going to use my husband, and I want you to use your partner as a guinea pig. And I want you to practice your active listening skills. And the way you do that is you practice by focusing when they're talking, you focus entirely on what they're saying. You're not being distracted, you're just focusing. You're avoiding interruptions. And if you're like me in any way, you have to turn off that squirrel brain talk that you have going on your head, and you have to really make a conscious effort to listen. This is probably the hardest part for me. Drop a comment and let me know if this is hard for you as well. But being able to turn off what I'm about to say or what my response is going to be while that other person is thinking. When you get to a place where you can turn off your thinking and what you're about to say and what your response is going to be, and just listen to what the other person is saying, whether it's your customer, whether it's your spouse, whether it's who you're working with, whether it's your coworker, you are a professional at that point because it's hard. I know myself when I'm using my husband because when he's talking, I'm either doing one or two things. I'm thinking about what I need to cook for dinner because when you have a lot of kids, you got to think about that. Or I'm thinking about the very long to do list that I have with so many things on it. And I'm thinking about, let me think about what I need to say to him so that I can go ahead and get done what I need to get done. But do this with me. Stop and just focus on exactly what that person's saying. That is how you build your active listening skills. That is how you build your focus skills. Because again, your people skills are paramount. You are going to be able to prepare yourself to excel in an automated future with your people skills because the technology is going to continue to advance. The technology, the automation, the autonomy, those things are going to continue to get better, but it's your people skills that are going to set you apart. It's your ability to resolve conflict. It's your ability to build relationships. All of these things are going to be what sets you apart in an automated future. So I want to thank you guys. I hope this information was helpful to you. If any of this has resonated with you in any way, I want you to make sure that you share the information with your colleagues, with your coworkers, with your peers, with your partners, because this information is needed and it's imperative for not just the future of trucking, but the future of transportation and the future of work in general. So, a lot of the things that I talk trucking and transportation and aviation and all of these things, but there's every industry is being touched by automation. Every industry is being touched by autonomy in some way, by new technologies and new AIs. So, you need to know what you need to be doing to prepare. And active listening is definitely one thing that you can start working on right now to be able to excel.